Hello everyone, welcome to the exciting session on like how to create scaffolding tool. And we have very excited guest today. Her name is Birgit Pauli, and she has like amazing work in good and bug times. She has done a lot of work around WordPress block editors and much more. She also had some podcast and good and bug times like Q&A sessions on YouTube and the WordPress camps as well, and which more do activities around WordPress. She's literally, really excited for this to join the session. I'm giving you some time to like introduce yourself. Polly, you can just start yourself.
All right. Yeah. So my name is Birgit Pauli, and you said
Mhm.
it quite. I do the Gutenberg Times. There's a Gutenberg Changelog podcast, and every 2 weeks, coinciding with the Gutenberg plugin release, we go through the changelog and other announcements from the community. I have been working on with WordPress since 2009, so now 15 years. Yeah, let's think that in.
How much time?
It's a long time, and I have been contributing to WordPress as a meetup organizer, as a WordCamp organizer, and now on documentation team, on the core team, doing quite a few things there. I'm also the editor of the developer blog. So if someone is here on the webinar and is a technical writer and is a developer in WordPress and does modern WordPress development, and you have an exciting topic that you want everybody to know because it was so challenging for you, but you want to really have everybody else know about that, ping me after. I'm in the WP Slack at BPH. That's my initials, BPH, and then we can talk about it. What else? I've been doing Gutenberg releases as a release lead, and I was part of the release team from the 6.0 to 6.4 on every release. First on documentation lead, and then editor triage lead. So it's kind of quite an interesting. Yeah, if you ever want to do that, yeah, be part of the release lead. Yeah, ping me too, and we can talk about it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for introducing yourself.
Well,
Just with a bit of introduction of myself. My name is Jyoti, and I'm working as a community manager at Cloudways. And it's very excited to know much more about the topics like scaffolding tool, which is like typically for the developers end. But I have some Q&A sessions at the end. Join us till the end of the session, and let's get started with the topic first. Polly, can you just take over a hand and just
all
explain?
right. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen
Sure.
and see that works. Don't show this. Well, let's see that it all works. The window, the entire screen, that's it. Okay, so share that. Oh, that works. So now you can see yourself. I can see myself multiple times, right?
Mhm.
um, so I have here a little. Um, so the topic, I'm not sure it was quite clear, but it's how to use the Create Block Scaffolding Team tool to create blocks, not to create the tool, but to create blocks. So you can follow along on that slide deck with a bit.ly link, bit.ly / create dash block 24. And then, we talked about me already. So what are we going to talk about today? We talk about the local development space a little bit. Then I do a demo on how to create a very small block, the copyright block, and then we talk a little bit also about the how you use the scaffolding tool for having multiple blocks in the plugin, and then we do um, the talk about resources, learning more, and then have a Q&A. So I went through the demo once successfully, and one time I had a little hiccup. So let's see which one we catch today. Um, all right. So for block development, you need additional things that you didn't need before when you were a WordPress developer for PHP. So on your local machine, you need installed Node.js, and that comes also with npm, which is the Node package manager. And you need a local web server, but you probably have it already in some way installed. If not, look at the block editor handbook. There's a whole chapter about the local development. And in the slide deck, there's a little link below. When I click on it, it kind of goes there. So it's about the local development here. And that is actually your friend, the block editor handbook. If you start out with block development, that's your friend. That's where you kind of spend hours and hours and hours reading and learning. And then I use a VS Code extension of Playground, which I used to use local, and maybe I'm gonna use it here as well. But then I had too many sites, and when I do development, I just want to have it locally in my directory, and from there I can actually call up the web server from Playground and have just my plugin or the theme that I'm working on in that instance. And when I close the browser, it's gone. I don't have a local copy of it, just my development things. And then you can use a text editor or any other IDE for your development. I use VS Code. And then you need your terminal app, or you use the terminal app from your VS Code that you work together to run the scripts. Are there any questions up until now for that?
Yes, Molly, can you please explain? Is there any preferences of the plugin, like on the playground that you have mentioned? Is there any preferences around there?
Sorry. Say that. I'm sorry. I need to mute for a moment.
Sure, sure. Take your time.
I'm sorry. I'm coming off of a cold, so my Mickey Mouse voice comes, and I also have um, some some coughing to be done. So repeat the question, please, for me again.
I'm just asking that is there any preferences around the extension that you have mentioned, playground?
The extension, the VS Code extension for Playground.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I need to look that up. Yeah. So VS Code Playground. Oops. No, that's not it. Yeah, that's the link here. Can I share that somewhere in the comment section or so?
Yes, sure. Share the link.
Yeah, and it wants me to join the. Is it on YouTube where I can connect?
Yes.
Okay.
You can connect with your own.
Oh, I had to do this before. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So that's the link for the Playground extension.
That will be easier.
Yeah. Does it work
Yeah.
so? Okay. Another question?
Nope.
All right.
All right.
So we built the first block, and on the right-hand side, you see what we're going to build. That's kind of the block with that has a copyright date and then has a toggle on an optional show the starting date for the copyright, and then you can add the starting date. So what we're going to do is scaffold that block as a dynamic block, and then look at the editor front end and editor and front end, and then change a few. Then we change a few data like the icon and the description, and then we add supports. So supports for color and for the font size. So a user that uses the block can manipulate that. And then we add some attributes so we can handle the start date and the toggle switch. And we add some inspector controls that's on the sidebar. And then we add some business rules and some front end rendering. Sorry.
You are on mute.
So the tutorial that we're going to use is the tutorial in the Block Editor Handbook. That is Build Your First Tool block, and I'm sharing that here too. And so I'm going to go here. So this is my, I'll clear that out. This is my terminal app, and and we start out with the create block tool, the scaffolding tool, and here's that's the command line that we're going to use. So it's the add WordPress / create block latest. So it's the latest version, and then space, and then you see the name of the block. That's also going to be your folder in your directory, and then we have -- variant dynamic, and that gives you all the files that you need to have a plugin. And block should always be in plugins. You could add them to your theme, but then when you change the theme, the content of the block is is lost too. So it's only for if you have a bespoke theme, but if you use themes on multiple sites, then you probably want to have it in a block in a plugin. And then so where in your space do you do that? So I'm gonna clear it out again. Hang on, clear it out, and then I go to whoops. So I do that in my home directory for my files, and it tells you what you're going to do. You can do it also in your WP-content plugins folder for your test site, and then you will have it in your test site automatically. And it creates the plugin directory, it creates the block JSON file, the package JSON file, and installs the WP script. So that's going to take a bit. There's also in the tutorial a little bit about the scaffolding tool. You could have the so -- variant is dynamic, is a dynamic block. You could also have if you have multiple blocks, you put in the same directory, and then have and then you have you can do variant equals no plugin. and then it just creates the directory. So let's see where we are. Let's see the, whoops. Yes, I hear you. Josie, what's going on? So I'm in my directory. So when I go into my VS Code, is there something that you want to talk to me, Josie? I have the background noise now.
No, no. You can just continue with your demo.
Okay.
And if you're like feeling something will or comes around, we can take a break as well.
Okay. So can you see? Is that big enough all to see?
Yes, it is
Okay.
created
Cool.
new directory.
So
Yes.
the scaffolding tool had 4 files in the directory now and 3 directories. One is the build directory. We are not doing anything of that. We are not doing anything with the node module. All of the place where we are is going to be in this SRC file, a folder with all the files already put together for that block. And then we have git ignore and editor config already placed into our file. And then here we have that's the normal plugin step. Then we have the block JSON with all the metadata, and we're going to work on in there as well. And we're going to work into the editor thing. So I have in that screen also, oh, it's too small. Hang on. I'm gonna go bigger and a little smaller. I have a little WordPress uh, icon underneath the extensions. That's already the installed VS Code extension for Playground. So when I click on it and start the WordPress server, it creates a new site here. And when I go into the dashboard, go into my plugins, yeah, I already have the copyright date block in there. So it's already active, it's already in there and it's activated. So when I go to my page and add a new page, the first block, and I go here and I see my copyright date block. It's already here. It already works. So when I click on publish, yeah, I can also see. So it says copyright date block. Hello from the editor. And when we go to the page, it says, oh, copyright date block. Hello from the dynamic block. And I originally also put it in the footer. So it says it from there too. Hello, that's cool, right? But we want to, of course,
Let's
change
go.
things.
Of course. You have just whole around the demo that's like a simple blog, right? Can you just explain something around like how to customize it?
Yes, that's what the demo is going to be. We have, when I go here in the so we are right here on the step 1, 2, 3. We're looking at the editor and we're looking at the front end. That's what we just did. And now we're going to change the icon and the description. That's the first customization. The second customization is we add some support for color and typography changes, and then we add some attributes. So we have the additional sidebar items where we toggle the should we show the starting year or not, and so we kind of do that. Shall we do that?
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
cool. Okay, so we go in the block JSON file. We want to change 2 things. The description doesn't work, right? That's the wrong description. So we add a copyright copy, write date to the site. And we want to change the icon, and you can change the icon and say calendar, right? So,
Right.
and the tutorial tells you about that. Where you can say, where you can look for the icon, right? All right. No, what's too far? Too far. I've got it too far.
Maybe I guess you can search it out.
Right. Yeah. So, but these are from the WordPress icon library. Yeah, you just kind of give it a name, and then you know the name already, and you can look it up in the storybook. So there's a WordPress GitHub storybook. And when you go here to icons, then you can kind of see all the icons. Yeah. I don't know where you can. So it's in the icon library. Yeah. Oops, that's a German version. You don't want that. Dash icons, it's called. Yeah, those are the dash icons. When you do calendar, yeah, you see the calendar, and then you take the name and put it here in the icon section. Yeah, you could also do folder if you want to, or could also do news. Oops. Yeah, you can kind of find it. Or there's no icon for news. Then build. Yeah, so we could do a web as well. Yeah, kind of. So these are all the icons that you can use with the names in there. All right, so we have the customization. The first customization, we're just gonna double check if that works. In oops, sorry. In the editor, you wanna get your terminal window going, and then you want to do normally to change things and then look at it in the site, you need to have a build process. So there will be npm run build. Can you see my screen there? Big
Yes.
enough? Okay. Yeah, so it says successfully built. Now, when you develop, you don't want to do the build process over and over again. So there is a tool that helps you with, you use an npm start, and that's a watch feature over your source directory, src directory. And every time you make a change, it automatically creates a build. So you can go to your site and say, okay, I refresh it, and then you see the changes already in here. So we made the calendar icon change, and we did the copyright change. So that was the first customization. It's not much, but it kind of gets the processes kind of going. Yeah, so always keep the npm start running. Okay, so the next thing what we're going to do is we add the support. Supports is for the color. So we go back to the block JSON, and we go, there is already a support, so we're going to override it with the one from the tutorial. And then you can, so it's color. We do a color support for the text, not for the background. We do the HTML, and we do a support for the font size. HTML is false. You cannot add any HTML to the block when you use it. So we go back to the site, and this is pretty cool because all of a sudden you have you don't have to worry about the interface for that, right? It comes automatically when you add it to your block JSON. All the supports for all the styling, and there's plenty of supports. And the font size, you can make it bigger, you make it smaller. So that's all good. Okay, so that is the supports. There is a site on the developer blog handbook that you can use. Oh, let me come out. Where are we? I want to share that with you here in the comma. And the previous one, oh, my comments don't come through, Josie.
Yeah.
So the first one came, but the other two don't. I don't know what is wrong there, but it's the URLs of the pages that I'm showing on the documentation part. So if you could share them again, that would be great. But you see on the supports page documentation, you see what happens when you add support for background image, for a class name, for color. We did this, but we had the property for text, and we set the background to false because it's by default true, but we didn't want any background places there. So and then you can do color background, and yeah, all so you see the page is long and long and long and long. Yeah, and there's also dimensions. Yeah, if you want them to to change padding or margin or something like that. Yeah, but that's you just add them to the support section of your block JSON. All right, we'll saw it. It works. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the right one, right? Okay. So, and when you save that and you go over to the front end, it's a magic. It also works on the front end. So you don't really, as a developer, you don't have to worry about those design tools. You can get them all from WordPress. Okay, so the next thing is we need to actually put a date in there, right? So now we have the settings. I'm gonna change it. That's the icon. So we want to change we have here in the editor, we have, hey, welcome from the editor. We probably want to change that to the year. So we have here the constant. We add that to that. It's the current year. Get the full, it's the new date format. We get the full year and we put it in a string. And then we just replace that here and do current year. All right. So we save that. It compiles. And then we kind of can test it again. And here we have the date. All right, cool. That worked. Of course, we want a copyright in front of it, so we do a copyright in front of it. I'll do that. Let's save that. And, okay. Well, all right, that works. But when we go to the preview, oh, it still says, okay, copyright, the hello from the dynamic block, because we didn't change the render PHP from. There's a lot of background noise in that. I don't know if you all hear it, but
I'm able to clearly hear. I'm able to hear clearly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we need to do also the PHP. So we go to the render PHP and we replace that here. Oops. I hope that works. Yeah, so it's the same thing. The get block wrapper attributes means we need the attributes from the block editor. And then here we have the copyright and then the echo, the year from the PHP function date. And then when we replace we reload it, we also have it on the front end. Yay! So now we come in to put the inspector controls and um, the UI for the other things. I'm just gonna go in block JSON and clean up a little bit. We don't need a view script. We don't need the editor style, and we don't need the styles. And then here we need to make sure we don't have a trailing comma for the JSON file, for the JSON format. So because then we are getting okay. So you think we don't have it? Well, we do. Just need to change the text and we need to save it and then reload it. Oops, still not saved. It's always something.
Just a hard refresh.
Here it is.
Maybe that's
Yeah, it's
what.
a hard refresh, but it has changed in this in the photo, so it's really interesting that it didn't change here, but it changed here. So it's really cool. All right, so in the tutorial, we'll now talk about attributes. Attributes are um, your variables that you use in your block editor and on the front end that you also put in the sidebar and then display render with your block. So in the tutorial, we are going to do these two attributes and then put them in here on the block JSON. We put them here for that. So we have two attributes. One, it's called show starting year, and it's a Boolean so the user interface is going to be a toggle switch. And then we have the starting year as a string. So the user interface is going to be a text control. So let's do that. And then nothing changes, so I'm not gonna do any. So I'm importing the inspector controls. Inspector controls is what the developers call the sidebar. So we add them to here, and that's like the use props from the editor, from the block editor package. Yep, here.
Okay, Polly, one question that comes around that can you like create a custom attributes as well?
Say again. Can
Can
you?
you create your own custom attributes as well?
Yeah, that's what we have here. These are definitely custom attributes. Yeah.
But these are like written over the like in the documentation. What if
Well,
you
they're
want to
they're in the
create your own?
tutorial, but you can call them whatever you want. Yeah,
Okay,
these are just variables that you going. It's not in the
that's it.
documentation. It's in the tutorial. Yeah, and the
Mhm.
tutorial is just an example of how to use things. But in the documentation, they don't. There are no attributes that are kind of built into. Yeah,
Mhm.
any of the attributes you
You
need
can name
to
it
build
any
yourself.
any
Yeah,
type of like
yeah,
yeah.
any attribute.
And how many types are there? Like we have
All of them.
considerably like two
So
types,
if
booleans.
we go to here and look at attributes, so block API reference, if you go to attributes, um, you will see you can have URL, title. These are just examples, yeah, but and then so type validations, you can have null, boolean, object, array, string, integer, numbers as integers. Um, so you can pretty much do anything that you need for that with attributes. Okay. Great. So, but we are only dealing with two now. Um, so, and now I lost my place in the tutorial. Sorry.
No.
um, we were there. We did that. So, all right. So we did that. Now we do the inspector controls. Here we go. We're grabbing the inspector controls, and we were at the storyboard already, so you can kind of look at inspector control at the components here. Oh, it's probably a input. A lot of there's a toggle switch, and yeah, these are all the components that you can put in your in your editor. So tutorial. Inspector control. So how do you do that? You go to the edit screen, you add the inspector controls in your import, and then you need to put them in here. So and it's all written in, so if we do the inspector controls, it's all written in React JSX. It looks like HTML, but it is not HTML. And it has a few quirks, and you see you get a few red lines. It's not happy because in JX you can only have one parent element. It says in your right here in the editor. What you do is you just add an empty fragment to the section, and then that's your parent. And then you can put those in line items. So, okay, so you see we have the what we put out in the editor canvas, that's still here, but we have the inspector controls on top. And when we go over to our edit page and reload it again, and nothing happens, but now we see it here. And we see there's in the sidebar, there's a new section, and it says testing. And of course, it needs to be a little bit better styled. We have a few more tools that we need. We need a panel body, a text control, and a toggle control. And we get them all from the WordPress component package. So we take the full line here, go over, go up there, and add that. We import the panel body, the text control, and the toggle control. And then we say, okay, we replaced with the panel body in here. And then, oops, we close them and use the end tag and put them down here. So, but we need a few more things. We need here the so we need a title. So we want the settings there, and we just have a namespace as well. And that looks a little bit different now in our editor. When you reload it, you see we have now a settings panel. There's nothing in there, but it already has a headline and it has an arrow to open up, and it looks, and shows the testing here, and it looks like everything else in the editor. So your user have comfortable can be quickly comfortable with the additional user interface that you offer there, and that's one of the keys for making a good blog. Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's another question, or
Yes. Just can you not implement it, but just explain how can you like deal with the complex attributes, like those attributes that are dealing with the type arrays.
well, you take it one attribute at a time and have an additional, and add them to the inspector controls one at a time, and have the right. So now we need to kind of make sure. I think the next two things when we add the other tools to it, and how we handle the attributes with it, I think then it will be quite clear, a little clearer, I hope. Yeah. So when we go here, and so we need to get the attributes into the edit screen, into the edit here, and that's where we we add them here. Yeah. So in the edit component, you add the attributes and set attributes there, and then you assign the attributes that we have from the block JSON, that's the show starting year and the starting year, to it. Yeah, and then we can then take the text control, right? Take the text control, replace the text in here, and then say, okay, the text control is our starting year. It has a value, and if the starting year is already set, it takes the starting year, but if it's not, it takes it empty, and on change, it assigns the value to the starting year. So let's see how that works. Yeah. So we have here the starting year. It's already there. We have even a headline, we have a label there, and we have the text box. We put in 2020, and we save that. Of course, we don't have it here yet because we haven't add the starting year to the output. But when we go to the code editor, we already see that it's in the markup. The starting year is already in the markup, so we can already handle that, work with that. Yeah. So that's that. And then you need to so in the text. So then we need a toggle control, as we said. Yeah. To set the show starting date, starting year, show starting year, and if it's checked, if it's not checked, starting year, and if it's checked, show the starting year. Has a label again, and on change, whatever the show starting year toggle is, it kind of sets it to the attributes. Okay, so let's do that and see. And then we need to, here at the text control, we need to have an if clause there. So if show starting date, show the text control. If not, don't. And we need some additional here. We need a parenthesis and things there. So it might be a little fast now, but I wanted to show the whole thing. And so we have here, the starting date. We toggle on the starting date. Text control appears, and if it's not, it doesn't appear. So, and now we need to make sure how we get it in here, and that's the next step. We go and create a let date. We go a little bit further up here before the return, and so we create it. So we now have a decision to make. So we do it through a variable, and that's called display date. And so if the show starting year and the starting year is available, the display date is starting year plus dash current year. And then if it's not, then the display date doesn't change. It's going to be our current year. So we need to go down here to the paragraph, and instead of current year, what do we say? We say display date. Okay, so that's where we have the business logic on what's going to be shown, and we save that, and then we go to our edit page, reload the thing. And then we go to the block. We show the starting date. and it has, yeah, and then automatically it added it to the canvas. Did you see that? That's really cool, isn't it?
Yes.
We save that, and you can change it, and it automatically changes as well. So we would say in 2019 and save that. It has already changed here, yeah. But yeah, we need to replicate something when we double click here. This hasn't changed yet because we haven't changed the render PHP yet.
PHP. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do that and do the same thing on the render PHP and have
Yes.
yeah. So do we have oops. So we have if the so and what you see here is I wanted to really that you see that the with the oops,
To logic.
with the logic the attributes that you set on the block JSON are also available to PHP. So you don't have
Yes.
to handle those variables; they're already available. So if you have an empty starting date and an empty show date, just say date is the starting date with the current year, and if it's empty, you have the current year. So we just need to change that. Copy and do it here. Display date, current year, and then we do. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. We need to escape it. Let's do that. And we have the copyright here. So it's the same logic that we did on the JavaScript, just with PHP. And so when we go here and save it, and now we go to the front end and click on it, it doesn't show anything. There's something wrong with my script here now. I did it too fast.
No worries.
Oh, you have here the current year, of course. Forgot a line. So that should do it. Yep, but it's still the 2024 here. Yeah. So
Do you need to rebuild again?
say that again.
I'm asking, do you need to rebuild again the code?
So, I don't understand.
I'm just trying. I'm just saying that the code that you have done, you need to like rebuild again the terminal, so it makes
No, I think
changes.
it should be fine.
Okay.
Yep. So I just needed to have the block in there. But did you see we have it changed it here, but it didn't change here because we didn't do the toggle in the template. So when you have that in the template, of course, the information is only stored on that particular block instance. So when you have a block here in the template for the template, and you want also show the starting date, you need to put it in, right? So that's it, and then it works. Okay, and then we do go to desktop. Yeah. So we go out there, and then now we have it. All right. So this was the demo. It took a little longer. I'm sorry about that.
Alright.
So I'm going to stop sharing and answer
Mhm.
all the questions that are there. How do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. Here it is. Here. So what do you think?
That was amazing demo that you have done, and that's really appreciated.
Yeah, so I hope it made clear that there is so the controls for the design are built into WordPress, and you can always make them available to your blog users. And then the attributes, for each attribute you need a control, a UI
Yeah.
control, and
Mhm.
the storybook has all the UI controls that you can kind of use. Yeah, if you need a
Mhm.
time picker, date picker, you can have a color palette or a drop down, or yeah, all this kind of yeah, a menu group or modal. Modal is pretty cool, and a panel or something like that. Notice, yeah. So you can build your app composing out of that. Yeah, and the attributes are available to PHP through that link, through that. In the controls, it's a get underscore block underscore wrapper attributes. It kind of works from there. Yeah, so when you do, we are here.
Mhm.
What are
That's
the questions?
right, though. I had just a few of the questions, and that would be much. One of the questions is that, can you just answer those questions? Is that technically that that sounds like that we have mix of questions and theoretically basis on the technically as well. And the first question is that how would you generate the block or justify dynamically when creating a block via the scaffolding tool? And what the key fields should be populated and how would you validate this file?
So you can actually add a template to your scaffolding tool that will. So the scaffolding tool, when you just not do any information there, just do npx create block, it will ask you a few questions, and that will all be added to the block JSON. If you want additional fields in the block JSON file, you would need to create a custom template for the create block theme, create block tool, and there is a tutorial available for that. Um, I'm just thinking, I think it's on the developer blog. Um,
It would be
so
good if you share the link as well.
yeah, I'm not quite sure if I know the link. Um, Custom template. Oh, here it is. Yes, it's the create an external project template for the create block scaffolding, and I can share the link in the comments. But you would need to allow that because are you seeing that comment? Uh, that's the link that you would need to share
Mhm.
with your. I have other links that didn't come through um, in the comment section, so I'm gonna. So that's the block supports, and then I have the tutorial that I went through very fast. So there was that one here. Yeah. So when you go and look at the create an external block template, it's you have to use handlebar, or no, what's it called? Mustache as a templating thing, and it gives you all the setup, and then you can um, call that create block and then dash template and then call the template for that. It's a little bit uh, involved, but of course you only have to do it once, and then you can use it over and over again. So that is how to do that. Ryan Welcher has done an awesome job describing that particular process.
Great. So coming up with the next question is that what approach would you take to automatically register a new block in WordPress after the scaffolding tool generates its files?
Well, the automatically register a new block in WordPress, that's already happening through the scaffolding tool. Yeah, so
Mhm.
if you add the plugin that comes with the scaffolding tool to any of the um, WordPress instance, it's automatically registered when you activate the plugin.
Great. And the next question, something like on basis on like something theoretical that how can developers customize the scaffolding tool to fit their specific project needs?
Definitely go through that tutorial from
Mhm.
Ryan Welcher. He has quite some tips in there. And there's also some documentation on the NPM site. Um, and of course, in the block editor handbook, uh, which pieces are you can replace. And then you need to change some of the edits, yeah, the values that you need for your project. It's relatively easy to update that because it's all text based, JSON based, kind of.
Okay, so come before going to just towards like to the next question, just I wanted to like personally wanted to ask you have worked much more number of times, you know, you have a lot of great experience for this. So what do you think about kind of the future development of Gutenberg times and how the AI could make changes around it?
So the future of you were probably asking about the future of Gutenberg, not of the
Yeah.
Gutenberg times. So what?
And how this like going out the pace around like how the AI works around here.
Yeah, so the what's coming up with WordPress Gutenberg is the data views, and there are quite a few. There's an article, also two articles on the developer blog about how to use the data views component that you see now in the editor, like real life. But you can,
Yeah.
as a plugin developer, you can also use that for your own plugins and data views. So there is a developer blog articles there by Juan Garrido that is using data views to display and interact with plugins. Oops,
Hmm.
that's the one. And that's oops, no, that's just the text and not the link. Sorry.
Right.
Um, Copy link. That's better. And then there is another one. The second one is so he has quite a nice use case
Hmm.
in how you can pull in data from an external source, display it in the data views, have all the filtering and all the different grid views, and then interact with the database of WordPress and how to put, for instance, when you grab in photos from an external source, how you can then add them to the media library. Those are the two articles about that, and I'm really excited about that. The next piece of that is data forms. So you can make those data views also for user input. That is still experimental, but it will be, it's not going to be in 6.7, but it will be until the end of the year kind of fleshed out and iterated on. And we will do a hallway hangout with the developers for that on the data views. What's next for the data views and the data forms. What's also very interesting is the real time collaboration, and they just started in WordPress Slack a new channel It's called Feature Real Life. Feature Real Life something. Um, Feature Real Time Collaboration, where people can that are interested in that um, can see what the team that is working on it is working on, so to speak. That's the channel, and that's really cool because it uses a JavaScript library where a lot of things have already been in place. So you can see more than one person can access a post, and you can have comments there. And yeah, that is in the works as well for next year. And some of it is already in experiments. So when you go Gutenberg, install the Gutenberg plugin, and then there's an experiment site page where you can toggle on and off or switch on and off some of the experiments. And that's the two big things. One of the smaller things is a more interactive grid view, a grid layout that you can build. And they are also in experiments where you can drag and drop things into a grid. So that is really exciting for content creators. And because grid view, you can do it as a theme developer for sure. Another tool that I really like and people should look into is the Create Block Theme plugin, which helps you because many designers now use the site editor to design themes. But how do you get it into the files and into version control? That's kind of the other question, right? So
Right.
with that tool, the Create Block Theme plugin, you can export everything that's in the database about the global styles into a theme JSON. Or if you create new variations, you can get them into the style variations. And they're just now in the latest version 2.5. They also added to get to export synced patterns, which is really cool because you weren't able to get them out of the system before. So create block theme plugin, and um, that's the tool. Oops. And here's the link for that. Yeah. So yeah, many blocks have received now their border controls. I think all of them have them now. So that's there now. You don't have to add them to your custom blocks. Um, it's also in the works is a a combination of tab blocks and accordion blocks. Those are in the works, but they have some iterations first at the Gutenberg plugin repo before they get into WordPress. Yeah, but yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, that's really cool insights that you have shared.
Yeah.
And how about AI can make changes around?
How what?
How AI is like changing around in Gutenberg times? Like, is there any like development around AI as well?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. There's a lot of echo in there. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just asking, is there any AI play
AI.
any role around in Gutenberg? Like, is there any development going on?
At the moment, that's all third party AI. There is an AI tool from Jetpack for
Mhm.
writers, where you can ask them to. I think you get 20 asks per month for free, and then you have to pay for it, though.
Mhm.
And but it has some cool features because if you have a text that's too dense, yeah, you can say make it more informal or make it more humorous. Yeah, so it kind of gives you better choices for or other choices for a text to have written, and you can also give it a link and say, please summarize an external link so you can. I use that on a Gutenberg Times quite a bit just to get started. Um, how AI directly is impacting Gutenberg. Well, there are a few um, teams working not only at Automatic but also in other places uh, for onboarding of users to have yeah, there's a Extendify is a company that has an onboarding feature that they offer for hosting, and that is AI driven, where you can say the vertical and then it gives you all the different kind of tools for building a website, but it's not built into the Gutenberg repo. It's all on top of things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's very good insights that you have shared around. And at the last, I just wanted to some uh, like the summary points or something you can say, any suggestions that you wanted to give. Can you just summarize in your own way or whatever your suggestions you wanted to give? And how do you think about Cloudbees as well?
So if you are working as a plugin developer or the theme developer or in an agency and you want to discuss new features or something that's not working right, and you don't know if it's a bug or if you do something wrong or if it's intended, like design. Yeah, sometimes it's never really clear cut. There is a new channel. It's not new, but it's a channel in WordPress Slack. It's called Outreach, and there you can post your questions when you are kind of unsure if a feature is supposed to work like that, or how, if you have a problem where you thought, okay, this is the feature that I wanted to use, but it doesn't seem to work right. Yeah, and then there will be a
Yeah,
few. So there are theme developers in there that can help you, and there are also plugin block developers there that can help you to get your question answers. And we use it also, I say we, because there are a few developer advocates in there. We use it to figure out, is it something that is a bug? Then we help you write the bug report. But if it's not, we say, okay, this is a gap in documentation, and let's write a blog post about it, or let's find a use case where we can write a tutorial about it. So for blog development, well, the blog editor handbook is absolutely your friend. As I said, that's a place to be. Yeah, if you want to get real deep into it. There's also the on the developer blog, and I have on my slide deck. I'm gonna share my slide deck link. The last page on the slide deck has a list of resources from the developer blog um, that you can where you can learn a lot more about things. Yeah, so that's the link to the slide deck. And the last page has, I think, about 7 or 10 articles that have specific problems for block development or theme development that you can go and, yeah, subscribe to the developer blog. That's where the action's going to happen. And so you don't miss any new postings. We have a monthly roundup post there. It's what's new for developers, and every month on the 10th it comes out, and you can subscribe to that particular feed just alone, and you get a list of things that happen with the either the next version or in the Gutenberg plugin. So as a plugin developer or agency developer or theme developer, you are getting kind of early warning what you look out for the next release. Yeah. No, that's about it. Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful questions. Thank you. And
thank you. Actually, we
yeah,
are running out of time, but we can have a lot of more questions to ask, and I hope so. Whenever
well,
later on, we
well,
will
send them to me,
join
and
this. Yeah, yeah, we
yeah,
love to
and
answer about it.
yeah, answer them asynchronous. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.